everyone, and welcome to a very special preview of our upcoming Now You Can festival. I'm your host, Georgie Barrett, and today we're taking a break from our typical monthly download episode to preview some of the fantastic content and insights from our upcoming event in June. So for today's Expo, I'll be joined by Genesis leaders and special guests to discuss some of the industry challenges facing financial markets and how low-code, no-code is solving these problems at speed. Now, as you can see, I'm actually dialing in from my home office, but in a moment's time, I'll be whisked away to the studio to meet with our experts for a sneak peek of the insights they'll be sharing at the festival on the 29th and 30th of June. Yes, there's going to be costume changes, specialists dialing in from around the world, and exclusive content you can only get here. We have got a great show in store. So to get us started, let me chat through what we are covering today and the various parts that are going to go into making up this show. So we're going to kick off with a quick overview of the agenda for Now You Can from Felipe Oliveira, Genesis COO, and Ben Jeffries, Senior Technical Pre-Sales. We'll then turn our attention to some of the key industry challenges solved by low-code, no-code technology with a demo of the outsourced trading desk application, a back-to-front solution offering connectivity to buy-side trading applications and the executing brokers. For part 3 of our show, Genesis and Citibank loan market leaders will discuss their relationship and how low-code, no-code is addressing key industry challenges for them, with a special focus on electronic platforms for collateralized loan obligations. We'll then have a demo of the Accelerator. Now, this is a tool that takes spreadsheets and automatically transforms them into low-code applications, so you can replace Excel with auditable, extendable applications. Drawing the session to a close, we'll share some of the insights from our industry roundtable on low-code, no-code adoption with ING, Google, Linux, Salesforce, and Symphony. Last but not least, we'll take a whirlwind look back at insights from the low-code, no-code all-stars who've joined the Expo series over the past year. So, without further ado, let's head to the studio to meet with my first guests, Felipe and Ben, our hosts for Now You Can. Hello and welcome to Now You Can, our festival of low-code, no-code brought to you by Genesis. My name is Georgie Barrett and I'm delighted to be joined by the two hosts of Now You Can, Felipe and Ben. Welcome guys. Can you give us a quick overview of what this festival is all about?
Absolutely, Georgie. Now You Can is our chance to share and celebrate the beautiful world of low-code and no-code in financial markets. We've invited guests from across the industry, from Citibank to Symphony, to join us in discussing how low-code, no-code technology is transforming IT delivery.
And on June 29th, we will discuss the Citibank and Genesis relationship and how low-code, no-code is addressing key industry challenges for them, with a special focus on electronic platforms for collateralized loan obligations. Stephen Murphy is hosting the session, and we're delighted to be joined from Citi by industry leaders Katia Ciprina, FinTech Strategic Investments, and Brian Brigil, who's the head of loan portfolio trading.
And on the 30th, we'll turn our attention to the technology, exploring the tooling behind the Genesis low-code, no-code application platform, and we'll be also discussing how to build a modern IT team and the importance of diversity in recruitment.
Oh, it sounds like you've got a brilliant broad range of talks. Beyond those live sessions though, what else can people expect?
Well, in addition to the talks on the 29th and 30th, we're also going to have drop-in demos. We're going to have a tech and a client zone where the audience can drop in anytime to meet with our senior engineers, financial market experts, and of course, your clients.
And don't forget, they can also view our extensive library of previous explainer videos, product and tool demos, and much more. If you are new to our technology, an experienced user, or simply just curious about what we do, we've got you covered.
Well, thank you so much, guys. And if you do want to learn more about the festival and to save your place, make sure you register now. Welcome back, and for those who registered for today's show, you're already signed up for Now You Can, so do keep an eye out for more info over the coming days. If you did not, just click the link below the video to secure your ticket. Turning our attention to another industry challenge solved by Low Code, No Code, we have an explanation of the outsourced trading desk, providing a state-of-the-art smart broker router for best execution. Peter Nell Kinman, Sales Manager at Genesis, will now go through the key features and how it transforms order management and broker execution. You selected Beaton for this. Can you tee it up for us? Why did you select this particular one, and what are the key themes that you want people to look out for?
Sure, Georgie. So next up is the outsourced dealing application we built for a new London-based vendor, Beaton. They're offering a multi-asset EMS for asset managers and an OMS, which incorporates smart broker router technology, making intelligent routing decisions based on previous broker performance. Beaton understood the challenges faced by buy-side firms around best execution, cost of running in-house trading teams, and the supporting tech stacks, but they needed a technology partner that would enable them to bring their disruptive and complex business application to fruition rapidly and cost-effectively. They were able to achieve this with Genesis. So let's take a look.
Hi, I am Peter Nell and I am a sales manager at Genesis Global. And today I have the pleasure of showcasing the Genesis solution built for Beaton, an outsourced trading desk. With increasing buy-side sophistication, increasing regulatory oversight and the hunt for alpha, we have worked with Beaton to leverage the Genesis LCAP platform to build a solution that tackles the industry challenges and provide a state-of-the-art smart broker router for best execution. The outsourced trading desk application, built for Beaton, is a back-to-front solution that offers connectivity to buy-side trading applications and the executing brokers. And now, let me demo the Beaton build for you. The Beaton solution comprises of two components. The first being the client user interface, the second being the Beaton internal application. What I will be taking you through today is the client user interface. Let's log in. The first thing you'll see is our navigation window on the left-hand side. Here you can see the main functionalities of the application: orders, analytics, transaction cost analysis, positions, risk limits, user admin, and reporting. Important to know is that the navigation bar is controlled by a granular set of user permissions, allowing clients and users to see only what they need to, creating a safe and secure environment. For the sake of the demo, we've set us up as a super user, enabling us to see all the available features and functionalities of this application. Let's start by looking at the orders. At the top, you can see the parent orders. When selected, below in the trade blotter, you can see the trades belonging to your selected parent order. The grids you see are highly customizable and made by AG Grids. You can drag, drop, and customize according to your liking. For example, I can get rid of the expiry column as such, or I can move the strategy column as such. By clicking on the various hamburgers you see here, here, or here, you can filter and search for a specific trade or data. Now, let's enter an order live from the buy side. When clicking on the blue buy button, you see the specifics of your trade entry. You can select your buy or sell trade, you can select your quantity, you can use our fast keys to speed up your entry. You can use a T for 1000 and an M for million. You can specify your account and specify your price type. You can say market, limit or stop limit. You can select an instrument of your choosing from our preloaded database, making it easy and fast to enter trades. You can quickly select your flow type. You can choose for a care order, a DMA order, or even an algo order. Let's use DSA order. When choosing DSA as a flow type, you can also select various strategies such as volume weighted average price, MOC, and POV and IS, When choosing View App, you can specify service parameters according to your strategy. Let's submit an order. As you can see here, the order has been put through and filled by the broker. You can see different trades filling up the order in the trade blotter below. You can set certain limits. This is usually meant for the compliance officers or a head of a trading desk. You can set warnings or fat finger checks, or for example, you can set a trade limit at say 1 million shares of Vodafone. The system will prompt you with a warning and not let you put through the trades above your specified limit. Next to the trade blotter, we also provide graphics in our execution chart, providing visualization on the size and frequency of the trades. To make your life even easier, we have a shortcut ribbon with buttons at the top here. Here you can filter the blotter content or quickly delete or adjust a trade order. You can also search active versus completed orders or filter for individual columns. Lastly, we have a quick search bar for quick navigation in the order grid itself. Let's move to the second tab, the Analytics. Here you can see 4 panes. The first one is your daily trade data. Here you can see a set of interactive charts that clients can customize and define according to their own liking. On the left-hand side, you have the columns, and on the right-hand side, you see a big pie chart. For this build, we have decided to use AM charts. You can sort data by broker or by strategy. You can slice and dice data in different ways according to your own needs. For example, you can look at pure volume, or you can look at notional value of a trade order. You can sort data by different values. You can use open order, completed order, order volume, order notional, commission, or average commission fees. This provides the user with an economic way of looking at their trade data. The second tab, Benchmark, shows the client his or her total cost of their trades. Total cost is broken down in commission, which you can see here, and slippage, which you can see here. Slippage is calculated against the TCA benchmark. This allows you to monitor best execution and understand broker performance. Again, you can view the data in different ways. You can view it in cash price or BPS, or split it by broker, or even by strategy. The strategy view allows you to monitor costs and slippage per order type. The final tab, daily and monthly, are effectively time series representations. The first showing daily volumes by broker, the second showing a monthly view. Both show you notional value per broker. You can select and view different brokers for your liking. For example, you can view only broker 1, view all brokers, or view only broker 1 and 4. The same applies to your monthly data. You can do so as you wish. Now, let's move on to our third tab, our Transaction Cost Analysis or TCA tab. This is effectively a historical trade database. Here you can find each individual trade and its performance. There are various sorting features allowing you to find outliers with ease. For example, you can sort by costs, for example to find your most expensive trade. This makes it easy for the users to spot outliers and analyze performance. Secondly, you can look up trades by entering their ticker in the search bar at the top. Now, let's move on to our fourth tab, our Positions tab. This, in effect, is a real-time positions, throughput per day, per instrument, per fund. If you so wanted, you can import start-of-day positions by importing an external file via a simple, standard Excel template or CSV file. Last but certainly not least, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Great application there. Any particular highlights for you after watching that?
It's important to highlight that this is really just one example of many new e-platforms where Genesis has been selected to develop a solution that brings positive disruption and efficiency gains to the industry. Others include the new CLO auction platform announced in the press last month. We're building in partnership with Citigroup and Bank of America. We're also working with Chinafic, building their platform for international investors to efficiently access the Chinese markets.
Fantastic. Thank you, Peter Nell. It's just so encouraging to see how low-code, no-code empowers asset managers and brokers to meet increased buy-side sophistication and regulatory oversight. Moving right along, we have a panel discussion between Genesis and Citibank on their recent work together and how low-code, no-code is the only choice to address the unique market challenges that consortia present. Back to the studio. I'm delighted to be joined by Stephen Murphy, CEO and co-founder of Genesis. And from Citi, we have Katya Shuprinya, VP Strategic Investor at Sprint, and Brian Bajale, Head of Loan Portfolio Trading. A warm welcome to you all. Nice to see you all virtually in our studio. So to get underway, Katya, let me come to you first of all. What were some of the biggest challenges you were facing as an organisation that made you want to start this relationship with Genesis?
So one of the biggest challenges we actually face is just demand for technology work. Everything we do needs technologists. It's anything from improving efficiency to delivering regulatory necessary changes to improving our risk and kind of control environment to innovating how our own markets trade. So we've been expanding the technology organization by thousands of engineers and developers every year, but there's still a lot of ideas that are left kind of untouched or underdeveloped. So by embracing low-code, no-code platforms like Genesis, we can enable innovation faster, and we can also get to a lot of the projects that previously would have been just a little bit too far out of the reach. And the challenge for specifically my market, which is credit market, is electronification. So we are far, far behind our peers in more liquid markets like foreign exchange and equities in terms of just electronic adoption of within trading, within data integration, within kind of all aspects of interacting with our clients. And we kind of embarked on this journey to build a electronic trading platform. That's how we actually met Genesis. It's best told as kind of an anecdotal story. We were doing an RFP to build a multi-dealer trading venue, and we sent out RFP to probably a dozen or so different vendors, from very big kind of household names to relatively small specialized companies. And in the passing, one of my colleagues in technology has mentioned Genesis as kind of just, an interesting idea to throw in the mix. And we met Genesis for the first time, and we got a proposal absolutely in record time. There was no kind of educational and very long meetings and consulting type of meetings. We just got a proposal back. And the interesting portion there was it was actually just too good to be true. And that prompted us to do what I would consider the longest due diligence I've ever seen from technology perspective. So we engaged our colleagues across the organization in technology specifically to review what Genesis showed us. And the outcome was like, we can actually do even more with this company than what you just have on your work slate right now. And we started coming up with other use cases.
Right, let's now speak to Brian, who is Head of Loan Portfolio Trading at Citi. You're spearheading some new innovations. What's that in response to? What changes are you starting to see in the market?
So the other part of my job is to then, take those, archaic markets and try to bring them bring them in line with other markets which have been automated significantly since they came about. In terms of innovations, we are looking to bring electronic trading again on auctions, for both loans and CLOs and other protocols in those spaces.
Spearheading some new innovations. What's that in response to? What changes are you seeing in the market?
So when we think about our markets, we tend to talk usually before the great financial crisis, after the great financial crisis. And when we look at the CLO market and loan markets specifically, what we've observed is that those markets, when you look at the outstanding balances of loan volume, CLO volume, they have doubled since the financial crisis. When you look at the trading volumes in those two spaces, they have trebled in the same amount of time. At the same time, dealer balance sheet that is dedicated to these sectors is contracted significantly. So the confluence of those two factors is increasing pressure on the market for the risk transfer process. And if we just zoom in on CLOs specifically, we see this problem manifesting itself and as a huge spike in number of B-week auctions that are coming through to the market. This creates a lot of problems for both buy side and sell side, because we have traders and salespeople and traders on the buy side as well spending significant amount of time processing activity around B-weeks. We actually estimate that today, buy side and sell side are spending over 50% of their time on this B-week activity. And then when you look at the revenue contribution from this activity, is significantly lower than that. So this represents a significant problem, obviously, and a challenge to the space. No one expects that we're going to see a reversal in trading volumes in this spaces anytime soon. So if we're going to look to address the problem, we have to find other levers that will help us ease pressure on market participants. And this is where we tend to innovative solutions, which aim to reduce time and effort spent on such activity without having to compromise quality or the level of liquidity that we're providing to clients. In fact, I'll probably venture to say that as we find creative solutions to address these problems, we are building into the system capacity that is going to allow us to handle even further growth in volumes and outstanding balances in the spaces.
Great stuff. So, you're obviously constantly trying to find these new solutions to respond to this ever-increasing, changing market. So what challenges are you hoping to solve specifically with low code? It sounds like you're already meeting so much the market needs.
Yeah, so low code, no code, I think, has become really relevant now, both in the overall financial markets industry, as well as specifically the credit industry. So I'll quickly touch on both of those. There's a concept which has been around for a long time called Rapid Application Development. And that's been around for a long, long time. And really, low code, no code is just another phase of that, another phase of giving normal developers the tools to be able to develop even more efficiently, even more effectively, even quicker. So when we think about it right now, low code, no code is going through huge change in our industry. The first forms of no code, low code platforms were very much focused on what we call BPM, business process management, and RPA, robotic process automation. And they're very much on the simple end of the spectrum of complexity. And really the kind of core systems are not really BPM, RPA systems. They're more like secondary systems built around core systems. So there's really three big differences about the way we approached building our low code, no code platform. The first thing was we built the platform from the ground up based on the concept of technical architecture design of microservices for really complex use cases, not the simple BPM, RPA type use cases. And that's a really, really big distinction. So we were looking at things called event-driven architecture, EDA, CEP, complex event processing. So what was very different about us was we attacked the really hard use cases, and then we come down to also make sure the platform could solve the more simpler BPM use cases. Once we had that done, those are agnostic to any industry. But then we built the industry-specific components on top of that, which are specific to financial markets. And thirdly, the big difference with us was when we went to market, a key part of our go-to-market strategy was actually building industry applications with our clients. So changing this model of buy versus build, so buying from a big vendor, a black box solution, or trying to build this yourself. And what we wanted to do and what we proved is with the Genesis low code, no code platform, you can buy and build. So we wanted to give our clients' developers, as well as our own developers, all of this, what we think of like Formula One engineering, they get all of those tools to be able to, for them to be supercharged, to be able to develop quicker, easier, faster, and better.
Great insights there, but that is just the beginning. To watch the full interview with Stephen, Katya and Brian, make sure you tune back in on June the 29th. Now let's turn our attention to the second demo of the day, because we're going to explore how low-code, no-code solves the industry challenge of end-user computing, or applications that end users have built themselves in spreadsheets rather than using purpose-built applications. So starting with a quick scene set on the platform, let's head back to the studio. Right, we're going to jump straight in by taking a closer look at the Genesis platform technology. And to do that, I'd like to introduce Chris Anderson, our platform product manager at Genesis. Welcome, Chris. It would be great to just get an overview of the platform from you, from a sort of, high-level point of view.
Absolutely. So at a high level, the Genesis platform has three main layers. So we have core services, business components, and tooling. And just to take a little look at each layer, so core services, these provide the fundamentals to an application. So things like performance and scalability and redundancy. Then the business components, this is where you start to see financial market specific functionality. So things like real-time market data, reference data, common business functions, things like that. And then finally in the tooling layer, this is where you build your applications and where you can monitor them and deploy them as well.
Great stuff. So the platform itself is actually really broad. Is there anything in particular that you'd like to hone in on today?
It is fairly broad, and for today, I thought we'd focus in on three key themes, and these are of acceleration, of reusability, and of performance. And I've selected an element of the Genesis platform that really highlights each one of those themes.
I like it. You've done your homework.
I have.
Right, let's speak about the first demo, because it is the accelerator demo. Why have you chosen this particular one?
So a key challenge we often hear is one of end-user computing. And this is where end users themselves build applications, often using spreadsheets, instead of using purpose-built applications.
Okay.
And over time, these have built up and have become a huge bottleneck and risk for firms, and now they need to be replaced. And so this is where the accelerator comes in to transform a spreadsheet-based application into a low-code one.
Great. Let's have a little look at it in action.
One feature of the end-user computing challenge is that there are lots of EUCs to be replaced. This brings into great focus the speed and cost replacement project. Genesis LCAP already makes a fundamental impact on this challenge, but we wanted to go even further in reducing the cost and time of replacement, so we are investing in Excel mitigation specific tooling. We can call this acceleration. We'd like to show you an example of that now. Today, we will go through how we use the Excelerator at Genesis to take a spreadsheet and transform it into a Genesis application. We will go through this in 3 steps. First, we'll extract definitions and data from a spreadsheet. Next, we'll use those to create a backend for our application. And finally, we will connect to that backend and build a website frontend. For this demo, we will use this cache management spreadsheet. It has a number of sheets and lots of data. In addition to data, business logic is embedded in the formulas in this sheet. We have lookup, sums, and calculations. Using the Excelerator, we will create table definitions for all the data, building CSV files that we can use to import the data into our database, generate configuration for serving this data to a Genesis frontend, and create bare-bone Genesis application. We start with the Excelerator and select the cache management spreadsheet. We provide an application name, select an output directory, and it's done. Moving on to the backend now, let's have a look at the output. As you can see, the data is there in CSV files. We have a Genesis dictionary and data server files. The dictionary holds the table and field definitions using the names extracted from the spreadsheet. Field names come from the top row in a sheet, including expected balance after redemption, per deposit cash, only, no T-bill. Field types are determined by sampling the data. The data server is used to serve this data to a front end and include the calculations. Now we will transfer the generated files to a server. At the moment, we only have the core Genesis services available. Using these generated files, we will now build the application. Next, we'll start the new microservices and load the data into the database. This completes the process. Looking at the result, we now have these files for our application on the server, and the new services are now running. Finally, we'll have a look at generating the front end. We start with an empty Genesis web project, just the scaffolding, no content. However, by pointing at the backend that we just created, we can generate a matching front end. We have generated Genesis routes, grids, CSS, and types. If we look at this in the browser, we now have the data from the sheets available in our tab. If we take a look at the sweeps, the data is there, and lots of it. We can click to view a full row. The grids are fully responsive. We can resize columns, filter, sort the data. All other sheets are there as well. We can also modify, insert, and delete data, and we can also group. In this demo, we showed the ability to pick up metadata, formulas, and source data from a moderately complex Excel, transform that into Genesis platform format to generate a new package on the server side, and a web UI to interact with the auto-generated comprehensive services. This is not the end of the development process for our Genesis application. However, within 15 minutes, we have gone from a spreadsheet to a browser-accessible Genesis application without writing any code.
Well, Chris, that was incredibly efficient. Is there any particular key messages that you'd like the audience at home to take away from that demo?
Yeah, so the key theme here really is acceleration, as the name suggests.
Got it.
So we were able to take a fairly complicated spreadsheet application and transform that into the beginnings of a low-code application in no time at all. And what this means for firms is they can finally mitigate these incredibly risky end-user computing spreadsheets and transform them into low-code applications very quickly and cost-effectively too.
Lovely. Now, given how much we all rely on spreadsheets and how widespread the end-user computing challenge is in financial markets, the Accelerator is a great example from the Genesis application library. Don't forget, demos like this and more will be available across the Now You Can zones and Genesis Knowledge Hub after the festival. Next up, we'll be discussing how low-code, no-code has changed IT delivery in financial markets, diving into why CTOs need to think differently about the IT team of the future. Let's listen in. Hello and welcome to our second session of the day, discussing how to build a modern IT team as we take a look back at the inaugural low-code industry roundtable hosted by Genesis. To get us underway, I'm joined by Genesis CTO and co-founder James Harrison. James, a very warm welcome to you.
Yeah, hey Georgie, nice to be here.
So, James, in today's session, we're going to be sharing the insights from the recent industry roundtable. Can you tell us a little bit about how the roundtable was set up and why it came about?
Yeah. Yes, certainly. I'd be delighted to. Low-code and no-code have wide-reaching applications across financial markets, from simple BPM to more complex use cases. And with the insatiable appetite for software and the industry undergoing a digital transformation, this is a technology that breaks down barriers, empowering more users to problem solve and innovate. This logically led us to ask, how can we increase the adoption and awareness of low-code technologies? And what best practices can be established or shared with the wider ecosystem? As such, last March we gathered leaders from Google Ventures, ING, Linux, Salesforce and Symphony to discuss with Genesis the adoption and awareness of low-code and no-code techniques to develop software for use in the financial markets and establish a set of best practices for the industry. Each panellist spoke from their own positions in the industry. A bank user perspective was provided by ING, A big tech viewpoint was given by Google Cloud and Salesforce, and a fintech angle was delivered by Symphony and Genesis. And finally, an industry standards and collaboration opinion was provided by the Linux Foundation.
Well, you had a really brilliant, broad perspective. And just to let you guys know, for an in-depth summary of the roundtable discussion, viewers at home can download the Industry Roundtable white paper. Today, we're going to be going through the 4 themes used to frame the discussion, which is collaboration, acceleration, education, and integration of low and no code. Once we've gone through those, we're going to be joined live by Brad Levy, who is CEO of Symphony. He's going to carry on the discussion a little bit further. So James, can you first of all just talk us through why did you frame the conversation this way? Why did you have these 4 pillars?
As mentioned, the overarching theme of the roundtable was to share how we as low-code and no-code leaders can share experience, insight and resources to increase the awareness and adoption of low-code in financial markets and establish a set of best practices for the industry. Each pillar of discussion was led by a dedicated stream leader, presenting on their area of expertise.
Well, to get us underway, let's now turn to our first pillar, which is collaboration. Let's have a little look to see what it's about.
I'll just start with the what's a platform or relating Symphony to it. Though it's an overused word for sure. You're likely to hear it a bunch today, and collaboration included. So in the last year, literally to the month, collaboration, platform tech burst onto the scene, really a huge space to find in a moment, really, 3, 5, even 10 years compressed to one. A series of moments over the last 5 years with remote work tech as a major 2020 catalyst in the space, really defining the enterprise collaboration stack from video to voice to screen share, file share, directory, integrations and workflow automations, one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many, really with people, apps, to data, to work, to solutions. So some platforms are gaining traction, targeting really enterprise users everywhere, or enterprises globally with users in it. Others are targeting more specific communities, say in technology. And Symphony is really focused on the financial services world exclusively, and the common workflows across firms, from issuing to transacting and settling many financial instruments around the world. So where does this recently defined platform space fit into the broader tech and financial services ecosystem, which is why we're here today, and linking it to low-no-code world? So first off, support for the new, but also controlled viral adoption of more modular applications, really based on a microservices-led world. With an ability to create these incremental innovations stitched together over time, within the enterprise and reaching all relevant external parties and platforms. So it's both an inside and outside enabler of adoption of very modular modern solutions. Second, creating new ways of working across the industry or solving more systemic problems like data trapped in systems or systems that struggle to get to the right data. And finally, building value through leveraging more community level trust with more users gathering to problem solve, build, and innovate. And if we really help enable the faster use of new solutions, the building around legacy stacks and connecting the two internally and externally will create a lot of value to the industry for sure. And many around this table, led by Genesis, are pushing into this low no-code space. And driving our own platforms with it. So the big play, putting application building in the hands of those individuals with the problems, but let them gather to build and solve more together. Innovations are often based on convergence and combinations, and we are bullish really at Symphony on the linkages and leverage possible between the low and no code world and the collaboration platform world, where we really marry people with applications with data more effectively, more quickly, to do real work and move on to the more interesting, fun parts of life.
Fantastic insights from Brad there, and we'll actually have him joining us for a discussion shortly. Now, James, there was quite an interesting anecdote that was said during that clip, whereby low-code helps people collaborate above the glass and below the glass. What do you sort of mean by this analogy?
Yeah, the anecdote is quite a literal one, really. If we think about a smart device, Each has a screen, and everything you do with that device is regarded as above the glass, or maybe easy to think of it as in front of the glass. Below the glass is what powers that device. It's the slick and secure workflow that underpins it. And with the Genesis low-code platform, we're well and truly both above and below the glass, with the platform tooling allowing our users to design complex workflows all the way through to building an application's sophisticated UI.
Inspiring stuff. That's certainly an impressive group of thought leaders assembled for the roundtable. Now, as this is just a preview, we only had time to hear from one panelist, so be sure to tune back in to hear from ING, Google, Salesforce, and Linux. Finally, to round off this month's showcase, we have compiled key insights from the low-code, no-code all-stars who've joined the Expo series so far. It's been an historic year at Genesis as they've worked with some incredible firms. So let's now have a little look at the highlights from ING, Alpha FMC, Celent, Illuminate Financial and Symphony.
The purpose of the Genesis LCAP is to enable robust, secure and scalable financial markets applications to be developed and enhanced rapidly and cost-effectively. The platform is being built for performance and the complex use cases that only exist within financial markets. And the platform is a combination of high-performance core application infrastructure, feature-rich business components and fully integrated DevOps tooling, all built and supported by our highly talented and experienced teams across Europe, the US and Brazil.
So we wanted to achieve a better reuse of data. We wanted to get rid of inefficiencies, and we were doing a lot of data remediation. So the application allows us to really get rid of that and improve on that. And that allows our teams to work better, it empowers our people, and it allows us to serve our clients better and to work with our clients faster.
The move to low code is part of this. What is core? Do I have to rebuild for every new solution? We said the market's going electronic. We said there's data. Of course, this is, if we go beyond the capital markets to the broader financial services, this is unbelievable what we're seeing, and people are struggling. If we focus in on the investment banking and the trading and the creation of markets, how different is each marketplace that you need to create? Yes, there's market structure difference. There's micro market structure nuances, but why rebuild everything? Why not go to a methodology that takes these components and uses that in ways? Now, of course, and this is not just for low code, it's not just for the citizen developer. Now we open up a whole new way in which you can start plugging things together, the business analyst or the citizen developer trader or something like that, where they can get the insights they need.
Yeah, the whole process ran really well. We were very pleased with the speed of development and what we have managed to achieve in less than 18 months, including onboarding. We've managed to go through end user journey analysis, develop an MVP, get to a production release. We've now got a real-life business example using the low-code application platform.
But it is a simple fact that the highly regulated world of institutional financial markets are by and large much slower to adopt cutting-edge technology than we are as consumers, as an example. So the technology journey isn't so much about like looking over the horizon and saying, okay, quantum computing is coming, how is that going to change the world? This is an industry sector that talks a good game about technology, but it's still only in the foothills of its cloud migration, of its big data migration, of its AI adoption journey. And so I think Genesis, built as it is, on a series of sort of best-in-class microservices, is very well placed to both help organizations accelerate through that journey but also to future-proof them through that journey as well.
Well, I guess my key message would be that the digitization agenda is not slowing down. It impacts every aspect of our clients' operating models, and the demand for technologists and for more delivery is just going to keep increasing. And so I think look at low-code. It offers a great solution to some of those problems that you might be facing. And we only scratched the surface of the topic here today, but we'd love to continue the conversations with the audience in a bit more detail. So please reach out to me or Dave or the Genesis team, for you, Felipe. We'd love to talk about it a bit more.
Our clients are using the Genesis platform for legacy innovation, building new industry applications, replacing end-user computing spreadsheets, all the way through to creating new consortium applications. They are all perfect examples of the variety and complexity of use cases that the Genesis platform supports, and how the Genesis platform stands apart from other low-code and no-code solutions that are built purely for simple business process management, BPM, and robotic process automation, RPA.
And that's the end of our show, folks. It's been great to take a little sneak peek at the fantastic content coming your way on June the 29th and 30th. Anyone who registered for Day Show has received their ticket for the Now You Can Festival, but for anyone who hasn't, secure your spot today at nowyoucan.genesis.global, and I'll see you there.